Hello and welcome to codecanvas. This channel is all about web development covering JavaScript, HTML5, CSS3, React.js, WordPress, and even the basics of AWS. If you are looking to learn, build, and grow your skills, you are in the right place. Let's get started. In this video, we will explore how to compare two JavaScript objects to determine if the first object contains equivalent property values to the second object. So, there are two methods we can achieve this. So, in this video, we will understand shallow comparison versus partial deep match comparison. Let's get started. So, let's say in our JavaScript, we have one object constant obj1 is equal to name as key and some value, let's say Bob, and his age is 30. So this is one object, and similarly the same object we will create obj2. So as you can see, this is the same object. If we compare, we should get the same object for both object 1 and object 2. But to compare in JavaScript, what we can do, so first of all, let's add method 1 that is called shallow comparison. Okay, let's create one function shallow equal the function name is equal to this is function, and here we will pass a and b, object 1 object 2. Okay, and let's call it out console.log shallow equal a and b. Okay, so we are calling this function here. Okay, first of all, we have to use object dot keys, and we will find, so let's log what it is returning. It should return name and age. So let me open the console, and here let me open the console here. It should be obj1 and obj2. We are passing these objects here in this function, and the array we are getting is name and age. So name and age. Okay, so what we have to do here, let me remove this. Yeah, object dot keys. So this is array. So we have to use every function, every method that will loop through all the key values. In the callback, we can get the key, and here we need to return a of key. So object a means object 1 of all the keys triple equal to b of key, and we need to return this and see what it is returning. So now it is true, right? It means object 1 and object 2 both are same. Let's do one thing here. Let's add Alice instead of Bob, and see now it is returning false, right? So in order to compare exact values with, so when you compare objects, you need to consider this key as well as value, right? So this is shallow comparison, and this method compares properties at the top level, and it assumes that object 2 is a subset of object 1. Okay, so this is method 1. Let's do some change in objects in order to see how another method works. So here name called Bob, And instead of this age, let's add one more key as details, and in details let's add age as well as city. For example, city value, let's add Mumbai. Okay, and let's keep this name and age, or we can remove this name and age and add details as another object. So details is a key, name, let's remove this name for now because name is individual, key and value. So details, age 30, right? So we have now two objects, object 1 and 2, with this key and value. Let's see if our method works in this case. No, it is showing false because it is not the same objects as you can see, but in other terms it's same. Why? Because this details with age 30 is already there in object A, object 1. But we have additional key pair values as well, right? So in order to work this, what we have to do, we have to create another method for, let me add comment, method number 2. What we can call it, let's call it partial deep match constant. Let's define the function deep match, the function name and the arguments. So here in arguments, what we can do, in arguments, first argument we can take object, and second argument we can take as a source. So this is object and this is source object, so both are objects, but in order to understand how this works, we can name it object and source. All right. So what we have to do, return again same, return same object dot keys. Here, instead of this object, we can find the source keys. All right. So let's see what it is returning, so we can understand it properly. Okay, now let me call this instead of this function, and now we have this details array, object dot keys source, and source is object 2. So it is returning this details as an array. Okay, so now let me remove this, and here let's simply return object dot keys of source dot again every, that will iterate through all the keys. And let's add the callback function here. In key, we have to check if type of this source of key. So if type of this source of key is triple equal to object, so we need to check if it is object, and source of key is not equal to null. So we need to check that object should not be null. In that case, we need to again return, we need to call this function again. And in this function, we can pass obj, that is first argument of key, and second value source as key. So please note down here, we are returning this function, we are calling this function as a recursion, as a recursive function, right? And if it is not there, then we can simply return out of this if condition obj of key triple equal to source of key. Let's see what it is returning. So now it works well. Now we have true because These two objects are not equal. In the first look it is not equal, but if you look it properly, we have this details. Instead of details and age 30, let's make it 20, and it should return false, right? So it is doing a proper comparison. So let's remove this age and add some other city, and it should return false. But instead of this Delhi, let's make it Mumbai, and it should return true. So using deep match method, and so proper in proper way, this method handles nested objects, and this shallow comparison is the method that compares properties at the top level, and this partial deep match handles nested objects as well. So when you are trying to compare two objects in JavaScript, these are the two functions that you can use. All right. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more similar videos. Drop your questions or suggestions in the comments. I would love to hear from you. See you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep coding.